Good morning, fly tyers. This is Mike Dunnaway, the Flatland Fly Tyer here. And today we're going to be tying a pattern in preparation for a mid-May trip I've got to the White River in Arkansas. And mid-May is going to be right in the peak of caddis season. The caddis will be hatching all over the river, and it's time to fish caddis patterns, especially emerging caddis patterns. And the best pattern that I'm aware of was developed by Mike Mercer out in California, and it's called the Z-Wing Caddis. And here is a Z-Wing Caddis all tied up, and what's interesting about it is it's got a lot of green, bright green caddis colors, but it's also got the emerging wings of a caddis fly, and that makes it very attractive to that fish. So let's get to tying this thing. We'll show you how it comes together. I've got a size 16 curved nymph hook in the vise and a size 3/32 copper tungsten bead. And you can tie these things down to probably 18, maybe 20, but I wouldn't go any larger necessarily than the size 16. Okay, to stabilize that bead, because it kind of flops around the hook, as usual, we're going to use a couple of wraps of 0.015 lead wire. This is one of my favorite caddis patterns of all time. Probably caught more trout during the caddis hatch on this particular fly than any other. Mike Mercer knew what he was doing when he developed this one. And I'm using a size 8/0 olive thread, uni thread. Start that in behind the lead wraps. And as we build our thread base, we're going to take some green wire in a size small, and we're going to tie that wire down at the same time as we build our thread base. I'm tying that down on the near side of the hook. Take our thread down into the bend of the hook. Okay, now we're going to use a body carapace, dark strip on top of the body. And for that, we're going to use a turkey slip. This is a turkey tail feather. And if you'll notice, one side of the feather is darker than the other. This is the more exposed side. That's the side that we're going to want to show as the top part of the carapace. So we'll take a little slip, probably no more than 4 of the feather fibers, and tie that in with the darker side down. When we turn it over, it'll make that darker side up on the finished fly. Now to form our abdomen, We're going to use just some olive dubbing. Form a dubbing noodle. About 1.25 inches long or so. Need just a pinch more, not much. With dubbing, it's always best to go sparse and then add material as you need it, rather than putting on too much dubbing. It becomes a mess. Okay, now take the body carapace up over the top of the body. Tie that down with our tying thread. Clip off our excess. Now we can take our green wire for the ribbing, spiral that up through the body. And what I like to do too is, rather than wrapping it tight around the body, what will happen if you do that, it'll take the carapace and it'll roll that around to the far side. So what I do is come up with a very loose wrap with the wire and then pull it tight. So loose wrap, then pull it tight. That holds that carapace right on the top of the fly. Tie up our wire, helicopter it off, and when I'm helicoptering off, I can pull down on the bobbin and up on the wire. That breaks it cleanly. Coffee break. Now, for the wings, we're going to use some Zelon yarn. Zelon or Antron doesn't make too much difference. And we'll cut off a piece of this, longer than what we'll actually need for the wings. And the problem with this stuff, sometimes it's a little more material than we need for those wings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this body of yarn, I'm going to essentially break it in half. So I'm going to use just half. There we go, that's about right. So if we loop that around our thread, and bring that up and tie that in just in front of the body. And then position those wings so they extend out from the body at about 45 degrees, and tie those in that position. There we go. And now you can see how those are tied in. So we need to trim those off, and we want those to be about 3/4 the length of the body. There we go. It's about right. Now for our next material, we're going to use some ice dub in a caddis green. And this is going to form our thorax. So a little bit of that ice boat dub. Wet our fingers and form a small dubbing noodle. We want the diameter of the thorax to be slightly larger than the body. Now our last material will be some peacock herl. Just take a short piece of peacock herl, cut the end of it off, and tie that in right in front of that ice dub. Make a little peacock herl collar up at the front. And whip finish. The last step is to apply just a tiny drop of head cement on our thread wraps. And that completes the Z-Wing Caddis. This is a very effective pattern, especially during the spring caddis hatch when the caddis flies are emerging. Give that a try and have fun fishing it.